Now, a new exhibition at the National Ballpark Museum is taking a look back at the connections between Colorado and Japanese ball players. The museum, along with Japanese American Resource Center, is holding a fundraising talk this weekend about the Japanese American shared experience of baseball at the History Colorado Center. And with more on this fascinating history is Millie King and Dan Evans, their baseball executive and former GM of the LA Dodgers. Great to have you folks here.
Thank you.
Yeah, Millie, I want to start with you. You were an integral part of the research of the Japanese-Colorado connection to baseball. And so how did you get involved in this?
Actually, it started quite a few years ago with Denver DU Anthropology Department. They go down to Amachi, which is an internment camp in Colorado, and they do a dig, and then they come back and they have exhibits. And one of the artifacts that they came back with was a board from a backstop at Amachi.
No kidding.
Yes.
That's neat.
So I did it with two of my grandchildren, and that's when we started to learn about how important Japanese baseball was in camp.
Yeah.
And I even brought this book.
Okay.
It's called Baseball Saved Us,
Oh my
which
goodness.
is kind of the mode of what happened. So that's how
Yes.
I kind of got started in it. And then I was at the museum one day and was talking to Rayleigh and
Yeah.
got involved.
I'd love for you to hold up that book and we can get a shot of the cover. And while we're looking at that, you also have a very personal connection to the internment camps here in the U.S. What is that?
I was interned at Roar in Arkansas, and when I was very young. I was just a little baby. So I don't really have a lot of memories of camp, but I have done a lot of research about what camp was like and baseball in camp, and it's just been really interesting. It's been a real journey for me to learn all of this.
Oh, the fact that you even have that connection is pretty profound. I mean, that's incredible.
Yes,
Don't hear that very often.
yes.
Now, there's an exhibit at the National Ballpark Museum dedicated to the Japanese connection to baseball. So what can you tell us about that?
It kind of shows the correlation between the development of baseball in the U.S. and Japan. And our wonderful Babe Ruth happens to have an influence in both of those countries.
No kidding.
Yes.
I bet you a lot of people don't know that.
I know. So that's part of the exhibit, and then we look at baseball in camp, and then we look at baseball post-war in Denver. And some of those baseball pictures that you have shown are from teams that played here in Denver.
Aren't those great pictures?
Yes.
I love to see those.
And some Nisei players are still alive. So they will be at the
No
event
kidding.
on Saturday.
Oh, that's great,
Yes.
especially for baseball aficionados who just want some history outside of the game. Dan, we mentioned that you've had a long career in professional baseball. You also have a connection to Japanese baseball. What is that?
Luckily, Jackie, about 20 years ago, I became the general manager of the Dodgers, and one of my goals was to elevate the Dodgers standing in the world in terms of international scouting and bringing players. So I started traveling to Japan. I've been there over 50 times.
Wow.
I've overseen the Japanese and Pacific Rim scouting operations of the Seattle Mariners and the Toronto Blue Jays, and I was an agent for some Japanese players. I just love the culture and I love the history.
No kidding. How popular is baseball in Japan right now?
I would say from a fan standpoint, every game is like a Final Four. It's like a
Wow.
Final Four atmosphere, but it's also a combination of football, basketball, hockey, and baseball all in one.
My
It's the
goodness.
national sport. It is an absolutely amazing experience and so much fun.
And you see so many great players coming out of there and really just the talent.
Yeah, and
'Cause
the
that's all
talent
they
now
know.
is caught up to the big leagues, and
Yeah.
now you see it. You see a lot of great players coming over and making immediate impact.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you're part of the talk at the History Colorado Center this weekend. What can you tell us about it?
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing Millie's
Yeah.
presentation, but I'm going to speak about the overall fan experience and the cultural differences between attending a game in North America and attending a game in Japan. Part of the fun elements of being a fan at a game all over Japan at the amateur and the professional level. It should be a lot of fun.
Okay, and how can folks attend?
Well, the event is from 3:30 to 5:30 on Saturday at History Colorado Center. The doors will open before, but it begins at 3:30 and you can buy your tickets there.
Okay, Millie, quickly, what other activities or events are going to be held to honor Japanese baseball and the connection?
This exhibit will be open at the National Ballpark Museum probably through August. and so people can come and see it there.
Okay.
And then they will also be able to see it at the event on Saturday.
Very exciting.
Yes.
So great to have you both, Millie and Dan. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
You're
Jackie.
very welcome. Well, for more on the Colorado connection to Japanese baseball, come out to Japanese American Baseball, a shared experience at the History Colorado Center. That's on Saturday, July 27th from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. The talk is a fundraiser for the National Ballpark Museum and features Japanese baseball historians Kari Yo Nakagawa. I think I got that right. Kariyo Nakawa and Dan Evans. And you will also see an exhibit dedicated to Japanese baseball at the National Ballpark Museum. That's located just steps from Coors Field in Denver. For tickets and details, visit ballparkmuseum.com